Why are Christians so exclusive? This is a question a lot of people have.
Stop! Are you actually eating cheese? My name is Colby, like the cheese, and that's what I'll be talking about.
How dare you?
Oh, hey guys.
Hey.
Why are Christians so exclusive? This is a question a lot of people have.
Stop! Are you actually eating cheese? My name is Colby, like the cheese, and that's what I'll be talking about.
How dare you?
Oh, hey guys.
Hey.
Why are Christians so exclusive? This is a question a lot of people have.
Stop! Are you actually eating cheese? My name is Colby, like the cheese, and that's what I'll be talking about.
Hey, Skit.
Why are Christians so exclusive? This is a question a lot of people have.
Stop. Are you actually eating cheese? My name is Colby, like the cheese, and that's what I'll be talking about.
Every light touches is yours.
Who cares about English? How dare you?
Hey guys.
Hey, Skit.
Why are Christians so exclusive? This is a question a lot of people have.
Stop. Are you actually eating cheese? My name is Colby, like the cheese, and that's what I'll be talking about.
Every light touches is yours.
Schmear is optimized. Wait, it's only schmear. Yeah, it's schmear. No, look, I'm smearing.
Hey, A2CN live, you know it's our favorite time. Turn it up and listen up and let's go take a dive. It's the show that does the most, and yes, we're streaming coast to coast. Bump it up and buckle up and let's go take a drive. Engaging the culture and turning our sense. Too many reasons we gotta speak in 3 days. Heroes, he's still relevant. For college students, ladies and gents, relating, connecting, reflecting, very thought-provoking. Acts to life, yeah, that's right. A2CN live right now.
Oh, hey, I'm here. I'm here, everybody. I'm here. We can start the show because I'm here. Hello, everyone, and welcome to A2CN Live. We're your hosts. Gotta catch my breath. My name is Steven.
I'm Esther.
And I'm Justin.
Welcome, everybody. A2CN Live is an online Christian organization reaching college students everywhere. We're creating content and community for students to talk about God, the Bible, life, and meaning over the internet. And today we're going to have a bit of fun, but then later in the show, we're going to tackle the question, isn't Christianity irrelevant? Isn't Christianity an old dying religion? Isn't the Bible an ancient book written thousands of years ago? What does Christianity have to do with what's going on in the world today and what's going on in my life? Those are some of the questions people have, and those might be some of the questions you have. We're going to answer those. But first, it's Friday night, so we're going to have a bit of fun. Woo!
All
Here we
right,
go.
let's do this.
So we're going to start things off with a game called Scream Go Hero. This game was popular months ago, but I only heard about it recently. And if you haven't heard of the game, basically you have a little ninja guy you control through your voice. And depending on how loud you scream, he either moves or he jumps. And the goal is to get as far as you can. So Justin, Esther, and I are going to play this game. We're each going to get 2 tries to see who can get the farthest. But here's where you guys come in. We want you guys to decide what sound or word we're supposed to scream. So right now in the chat, start throwing us some ideas of what sound or word Justin is going to scream because Justin's going to go first. Come on,
right.
please give us some words. You guys ready to play? You guys ready? Okay,
I'm
while
ready.
we're getting ready, you guys give us some suggestions. What word or sound do you want Justin to scream as he's playing this game?
Boba.
Boba.
Bustin'. Who's Bustin'?
Boba is pretty good.
Bring it around.
There we go. Bring it around, bring it around, bring it
Bring it
around.
around
We're going to start
town.
with level 1, people. We're going to start with level 1, and hopefully we can get...
Is this on the screen?
Is that on the screen? It is
there
on
it
the
is.
screen, and it is completely
Great.
blocking Justin. That's great. Oh, there we go. All right.
Which one is it?
Level 1. Let's do...
It's Boba. It's Boba.
Okay, stonk, yeet. No, stonks.
There's a lot of stonks, a lot of
Lot
yeet.
of-
You
lot of
boy.
stuff.
You boy.
Aya. I like
boy.
aya. I like
All right,
aya.
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 Aya. Aya. Aya. Aya.
Whoa.
Dude, I'm so good. Aya. 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 Oh,
Hey,
that was
pretty
good.
good. So
Okay.
man. No,
Okay.
2 tries. 2 tries.
Oh,
Level
okay.
1 again.
Oh,
Come on.
it's too easy.
You were so close. You got to get up there. You got to get up there.
All right, give me a different syllable.
Q-tip.
Q-tip. Q-tip.
I think
You
that's
done.
okay.
Yeah,
That was my second line.
He's passing. He's passing. He wants to go
Oh,
on.
yikes. Okay, I don't know
All
if I
right.
can top that.
Let's get a word for Esther, please. Don't start yet. Otherwise, it's gonna. Esther. They want aya.
Who-
Someone wants Q-tip.
That's
Okay.
this the lag still.
Q-tip.
It's gotta be the lag.
No, Q-tip.
Give me something
Boink.
better, guys.
Boink. Boink.
Roll your
Esther, roll
R's.
your R's.
I like that.
R's. R's.
Ah. Oh, it started.
Okay. Quiet on this time.
Hey, you try rolling your R's.
I like Gouda.
Gouda.
Cheerio lover
All right,
is
bring
saying
in the-
Gouda.
Gouda?
Gouda. Come on. One more try.
Well,
One more try.
not one more
You
try.
You were so close to being
Oh
number
man.
one.
Okay.
Gouda,
I gotta
Gouda,
bring this
Gouda.
back around. Okay. Let me try. Gouda. 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 Gouda.
Oh!
Hey, nice.
Oh man, wait, that means I have to do level 2?
Practice makes
I have to do
better.
level 2. Okay,
He
what
has to
word?
do level
What word
2,
should I?
but Steven also practices, so it's actually rigged.
Yeah, he cheated.
What? Come on. Okay. What word should I? Come on, chat, help me out. Chat, help me out.
Man, this like 3-second delay is kind of.
John
Yeah.
Cena.
John Cena.
John Cena, like
okay.
a theme
John
song, or
Cena.
you say John Cena?
Well, someone said John Cena or Jesus.
How about you? How about you?
The same guy. Okay, John Cena. John Cena. John Cena. John Cena, John Cena. John Cena, John Cena. John Cena. John Cena, John Cena. John Cena!
Oh man.
Okay, I'm gonna see if I get more luck saying Jesus.
Oh.
Jesus. Jesus!
How could you do dirty like that?
Oh man, I should have known. If I used that word, it would be bad. It would be bad.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. All right. Hope you guys enjoyed that. I know we certainly did. I hope.
Yeah, I
But I
did.
think we need a little bit of voice rest now. Voice rest.
Yes, so that means it's time for another TART, talks about random things. And this week we'll be hearing from Serena about bridges and what it takes to build them. Let's roll that.
Have you ever wondered what it takes to build a bridge? Take the Golden Gate Bridge, for example. First proposed in 1872, many decades of deliberating the feasibility of this bridge led to 1921, when Chicago-based engineer Joseph B. Strauss submitted sketches to San Francisco city engineer Michael M. O'Shaughnessy. People straight up said it was ugly, but surprisingly, there was little public opposition to the bridge itself. So they told Strauss, "You can lead this project as long as you let other people design it." But ultimately, the Department of War, along with the local ferry companies, opposed and halted construction for 8 years. The Department of War also wanted the bridge to be black and yellow to stand out in the fog. Yikes. The city of San Francisco took matters into their own hands, though, and secured funding through property bonds, and finally, the bridge began construction in 1933. It took 61 years just to plan it out and get it started. Now, in order to place the towers, dynamite was used to break up the rocks of the seabed. Divers then worked to guide the positionings to take place in the concrete. Portable air tanks weren't invented yet, so air for the divers had to be pumped through a long hose from the surface. They did this to create a huge oval-shaped concrete barrier to protect the base of the south tower. After they filled the bottom portion of the barrier, they pumped out the remaining 9.4 million gallons of seawater and finished the towers, each weighing 22,000 tons. The next step was to suspend the cables. To spin the cables, workers pulled a wire about as thick as a pencil from one concrete anchorage to the other. So the two cables are formed of many wires, 27,572 to be exact, 80,000 miles long, which can circle the globe 3 times. The roadway deck was built after that, which was pretty straightforward. Then the final matter was to decide on the color of the bridge. International orange. Apparently not red. The public actually liked the orange primer, and the color also aligned with the Department of War's request for a visible color. Yeah! So the bridge was finally finished in 1937, 4 years after they started building it. It stands 1.7 miles long, carrying about 112,000 vehicles every day. Bridges take a lot of work to build, both in the physical world as well as our relational worlds. And that's the TART for the day.
Oh, thanks, Serena. That was pretty neat.
Yeah!
Well, I
Is that your
think,
voice? That was your...
yeah, I didn't know you were in this video.
That wasn't in there in yesterday's draft.
Well, I think the challenge of building physical bridges is pretty representative of the challenge of building relational bridges too, if you ask me.
Wow, that is pretty deep. And I think that is especially relevant to the times we are in. Moving on now, we want to do one more thing before we jump into the question of the day. We wanted everyone to get up and move around with us. It seems a little random, and it is, but it's also kind of related. Promise. So, Justin, it's time for Jive with
All right,
Justin, everybody.
Jive with
I don't know who
Justin.
picked that name.
Love that spot. Jive with Justin.
Yeah, it was
So basically, at this point, we've done the obligatory audience engagement. We've reset your attention span with the TART, and it's time to do a warm-up that's very loosely related to the content that we have today. And we're going to teach you guys how to dance. So we can't see any of you guys, but if you could all stand up with us and participate,
Stand up.
God is watching. Yeah, so the first one we have for you is Gangnam Style. So I was typecast for this because I'm
You
Korean.
look like that
but
guy.
Yeah, exactly. Like
It's
very
basically,
twin.
it's a right, so you're gonna cross your arms like this, and you're gonna let your wrist be loose, and it's super easy. It's just gonna be right, left, right,
I'm gonna
then
have
left,
some trouble.
left, right, left.
Uh-oh,
So
totally
we're
missed
gonna,
that.
it's right or left, right, and then
Right, left.
you do the same
I'm
thing,
so bad at
doing this. All right, so if we get the music, please. We're just going for it. That was super weird.
Let 'em loose.
All right, okay. I don't know when to go in because I don't know when the beat drops. 5, 6, 7, 8. Right, left, right. Now up. Left, right, left. Up, right. Okay, that was good.
Irrelevant.
Steven was bad, but you guys were all great.
No coordination there.
No, that's a bad dance.
Totally irrelevant.
You're a bad dance.
I am.
All right, I'm gonna teach y'all some disco moves. So can I get some music, please? All right, you're gonna bring your left hand on your left hip. Your right hand's gonna go up and down, all right? Up, down, all right? And then you can add some flavor. You can do some peace signs. Let me see those peace signs. You could do the drowning one too. Ooh, yeah. I don't think this is actually
I'm swimming. You're
the
drowning.
show, but
Now I'm doing the butterfly. That's really bad. Okay.
okay.
Now that we've got the
dance move.
joke dance moves out of the way, we're gonna do some serious dance moves now. You guys got beginner, intermediate, advanced. I'm gonna teach you guys how to moonwalk. You guys ready? Here we go.
ready.
Okay, everyone turn to your side like you're about to moonwalk, because you're gonna, do it. So, can I get the music, please? Time for the moonwalk.
Goes this way.
Do the moonwalk. Let's go, everybody. One small step for man, one giant leap for mankind. Do the moonwalk. Where'd you guys go?
That is irrelevant, Steven.
That was terrible. I'm sorry.
So
I'm
we
sorry.
can't share the same stage with you when you're doing that.
I completely regret that. I'm sorry, everyone. Okay, so that was Jive with Justin. Hope you guys are all warmed up and ready to go to tackle this question. Put it in the chat if you would like to see Jive with Justin again, because I would definitely like to see that. And I hope all of you are impressed by my moonwalk, because I think it was out of this world. So, why did we do all those old dance moves? It's not totally random. It's because the question for this week is, isn't Christianity irrelevant? Just like Justin's dance moves.
Just like you.
Just, yeah. Well, one thing is for sure. Christianity feels irrelevant today, and for a variety of reasons. So to represent and explore those reasons in a slightly caricatured, hopefully comical, and non-dancing fashion, we're going to hand it off to our friends Josh and Elton. Let's hear it in the chat for the Skit Boys.
Barry, you would not believe what I saw this morning. You would never guess.
What
You'd
is it,
never
Harry?
guess. I was strolling through the garden, and before me there was a chap sitting down reading the Bible.
The Bible, Harry?
The Bible, Barry.
I
He's
didn't know
reading
this.
the Bible.
I didn't know they still made those in the modern era.
I know. I never expected the Bible to still be relevant in this century. It's outdated.
Yes, this is the year of our Lord, Anno Domini 1870 and 8. They don't
yes.
print those anymore.
That's right. That book is older than my great aunt Gertrude, and she was around for the Revolution. She's old.
so
She's
much
old.
has happened between when it was written and now.
Oh yes. Oh yes. Like the Enlightenment. The
know.
Enlightenment.
And the scientific revolution?
Oh yes, and the Industrial Revolution.
I mean, look,
Yes.
Harry, this is the age of the light bulb.
The light bulb and the Ferris wheel.
And
the
did you know?
Ferris wheel.
Did you know? Just 4
Yes,
years
go
ago,
on, go on.
our dear friend Samuel W. Francis himself
Yes, Mr.
invented the
Francis.
spork
Oh, the spork. Yes, it's a spoon.
and a fork
At the same time. It is incredible. Cutting
Christians,
edge.
the Bible is just no match for technology.
Indeed, indeed. Oh, speaking of Christians, have you heard the news about our dear boy Larry, Barry?
What happened to Larry, Harry?
Larry, he's gone and become one of those Christians.
A Christian, Harry?
A Christian, I can't believe it.
How did that happen?
He said that he'd gone to those old buildings. Oh, what's it called? It's got the pointy roof and it's got the plus on the top.
A church.
Oh yes, a church. Yes, he
They're
went to
still
one of
around.
them.
They're still around.
Yes, it's ridiculous.
You know, let me tell you, I pity that.
Okay. Yes, yes.
It's my prediction
Yo,
that
okay.
by the year 2020,
2020,
there won't be
yes.
a single Christian in the whole empire.
Oh, you are a prophet, Barry. You are a prophet
Thank you, thank you.
indeed.
Look at this. You like this? This new. Oh, check this out.
Okay, okay.
Alexa, stop.
Marvelous. Marvelous stuff. Marvelous stuff.
All right, let's give it up in the chat for the Skit Boys. Wow.
Ooh, nice job,
good,
Skit
that was
Boys.
good.
So actually, we don't know what to call Elton and Josh. Skit Boys is not an official name. So if you have a good name for them, throw it in the chat. And if we like it, we'll not only use it, but we'll send you a free A2CN t-shirt.
Woo! Wow, nice. All right, so I think one thing the skit touches on really well is that if you look around, there just doesn't seem to be a lot of Christians, right? There doesn't seem to be a lot of churches. Christianity seems like a dying religion. Now, the reality, in actuality, Christianity is not dying. It might seem like that in Western countries, but in the rest of the world, Christianity is actually growing, especially in a place like China where it's like illegal to be Christian. Christianity is like exploding there. That being said, in our context, Christianity definitely feels irrelevant. That's what college students in the United States experience, right? So in the chat, what are some things that make Christianity seem irrelevant? Can you guys answer that question? What are some things that make Christianity seem irrelevant to you today?
Yeah, I mean, as a college student, you might be the only Christian in your school or among your group of friends, and then it really feels like Christianity is irrelevant.
Yeah.
Like, why be a Christian if no one else around me is Christian?
Yeah, and I think from a point of view of a non-Christian, it might seem like church is this like dusty old institution that's faded into the background, like a trend that's gone out of fashion. And Christianity is a thing of the past that we don't take so seriously anymore, like pagers or cassette tapes. Like, imagine if you saw someone walking down the street with a pager strapped to their belt, you'd be like, what decade is this person stuck in? And, you know, it's like a similar thing with Christians nowadays.
Yeah, I think that's really well put. Nothing against pagers, by the way. But yeah, like sometimes you see Christians on the news and they're saying this stuff and you're like, what? Is this guy from the medieval age or something, you know? But I think it might be surprising to some people that there's a lot of overlap actually between Christianity and modern society today. Our society was founded on and really shaped by Christian principles. I mean, if you take our U.S. Constitution, you take the abolitionist movement, the civil rights movement, Christianity played a huge role in all of those. And if you look at all the hospitals, the universities, the Ivy League colleges and orphanages, all those first things, there's a reason why so many of them are named Saint Blank or whatever, right? It's because they were started by Christians. So I can go on, but there are a lot of examples that show that today we really take for granted how much of our society we owe to Christianity.
Yeah, I think all you said is pretty true. I guess I didn't really think about all those things. I mean, for me personally, I saw the Bible as this ancient, old book written years ago. Yeah. I didn't even think it could apply to my life. I mean, we're in the 21st century. There's all this technology and modern advancements in science. We have iPhones, the internet. I didn't quite know how the Bible could have anything to do with me. And then growing up, even when I went to church, I didn't understand the messages. I felt like they were so obscure. There was so much Christianese and jargon that I didn't get, and nothing really connected with me.
Yeah, I think my experience of Christianity growing up was pretty similar to that. But for me, it was something that was always over there. Like, it was always present in the peripheries of my life. But, you know, it was always something that was like my grandparents' thing, or an old people thing, or like a thing of the previous generation. And it was never really like my thing. You know, it wasn't personal, it wasn't relevant to me. And I didn't understand how it was supposed to be relevant to me, since it didn't seem like it had any impact on my life. Like, did God really care, like, how my grades were and what college I'd go to? And, you know, like, what did Jesus have to do with my relationships with my friends? And my answer was always just like, I don't know. And I never really understood, and I never really tried to understand. So, like, Christianity was always just, like, over there, you know?
Yeah, thank you guys for sharing that, actually. I think a lot of people could relate to those experiences. And man, there's a lot there. I don't know if we're going to be able to like talk about all those things, but maybe we could start off this way. Obviously, you guys are here, so something changed, right? And so what changed? Like, how did Christianity become relevant for you guys?
Yeah, well, one thing for me was seeing Jesus as a relevant, relatable person. He deeply cared a lot about the things I cared about. He fed the hungry, cared for the sick, was against inequality, against religious persecution. And it was these aspects of the person of Jesus that made me think, wow, this is a really cool, radical revolutionary, and I'm here for it.
Wow, nice.
Yeah.
So yeah, Jesus, cool, awesome, yeah. Yeah, you know, same thing happened to one of my friends. He grew up in South Central LA, inner city, right? And because of living in that environment, he got really into social justice and minority rights, fighting for people of color, stuff like that. And what really got him curious about Christianity was realizing Jesus was poor, and he grew up in poverty. So he was like, dude, I know, you know, I know what that's like. And then he realized all of his heroes, you know, Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, they had tremendous respect and followed the example of Jesus. And that's when he became curious. That's when he was like, okay, Christianity, relevant. Now, that's one way. You see the person of Jesus as who he is, and it's compelling, right? But you also mentioned, like, you didn't understand the messages, and you heard a lot of Christianese. So, like, what do you mean by that?
Yeah, so sometimes, you know, you go to church and it can feel like people are speaking a different language. And I'm guessing you probably experienced this too, but you'll hear words like redemption or led by the Spirit.
Sin, salvation, repentance.
Fellowship, like an internship, like a work program.
Or like things like born again, body of Christ, penal substitutionary atonement.
Yeah, like washed by the blood, anointed. Like, wait, whose blood?
Wait, so you guys don't use those words in real life? Okay, never mind. I'm just kidding. Yeah, nobody uses those words in real life. So, yeah.
Do you use them?
No, well, as surely as the Lord lives, Truly, truly, I say to you, my dear brother and sister, Lord Jesus Christ, I do. No, I don't. No, nobody talks like that.
All right, well, anyway, church, Christianity, the Bible, they were all like that until I came to college, actually. That's when I began to look closely and study the Bible with others. I saw that the Bible is really relevant and can speak into my life. And one story in particular was the story of the bleeding woman in Mark 5. So it's the story of a woman who has a discharge of blood for 12 years. And basically, she seeks help through various physicians. So she spends all her resources, money, time, and energy. But it doesn't get any better. Actually, it gets worse. And so she's considered unclean by society, is a social outcast, feels unwanted. But she hears that Jesus is coming to her town, and so she seeks him out because by now she's heard that he's been doing all this healing. But she doesn't think she's worthy to come before Jesus because of the stigma of her ailment. So she sort of like sneaks up on Jesus in the crowd, touches the edge of his robe, and then immediately like is healed. And she's trying to slip away unnoticed, but then Jesus calls her out in the crowd. And surprisingly, he takes the time to listen to her whole story, the 12 years of dealing with this sickness. He hears everything, the good, the bad, the ugly, the most intimate, embarrassing details about her. And then at the end of it, Jesus, who, is just so tender-hearted and fatherly, calls her daughter and says, your faith has made you well. And when he calls her that, that's when she's truly healed, not just physically, but spiritually, emotionally, her dignity restored as a person. And so similarly, I had several ailments. I experienced crippling shame in many forms. And one of the physicians of the world that I thought would heal those ailments was doing well academically and just trying to prove my worth that way. And then always coming out empty-handed. So when I heard that story, it struck me that this woman was fully known and accepted by Jesus. And before I read this, I didn't even know that that's what I wanted. I didn't know that I wanted to be fully known and loved and accepted and called a daughter. And this kind of story in the Bible identified with me in this way. So it no longer became this old book. It was meaningful and it was personable.
Yeah, and for me, I'm kind of in the same boat. But for me, it was that the Bible seemed to accurately identify my personal experience of inconsolable longing. And I remember that it was something that I wasn't even consciously aware of. All I knew was that I was endlessly searching for something that I couldn't even quite identify. And it's like that sense of awe and wonder you get when you get away from the city lights and you see a sky full of stars for the first time. Or it's kind of like that sad prickling in your heart when you think back to some of the best moments of your life, only to realize that they've slipped into the past forever. And there was something that I was always looking for, that I'd always want to recreate and try and recreate, but that seemed like only existed in my memories. And there's this long C.S. Lewis quote, which pretty aptly describes the experience, and you can look this quote up online. And as he talks about this sentiment of longing, he also talks about how we'll never be able to find the things we're looking for in nature, in beauty, or in our memories. And he says, "For they are not the thing itself. They are only the scent of a flower we have not found, the echo of a tune we have not heard, news from a country we have never yet visited." And the thing that struck me about the Bible is that it acknowledges the fact that people are always looking for something, and even offers an explanation as to why. In Ecclesiastes 3, it says that God has put eternity into the heart of man. And it was the first time that anything or anyone had suggested that my experience of deep yearning was not only valid, but actually expected. That I wasn't destined for an endless quest of searching for something I'd never find, but that there is a true home where I do belong. And that there is something or someone out there that I will one day be with that will finally satisfy that longing.
Wow, thank you guys for sharing those stories. I think that's the experience of a lot of people who really get into the Bible, right? And as they study it, man, they find how profound it is. And man, I know that's my story, and man, I'm so glad to hear your guys' story too. So to summarize what we've been talking about so far, is Christianity irrelevant? Well, we talked about how Christianity is not a dying religion. It's actually growing, especially outside the West. And we also talked about how we take for granted how much of our society is founded on and shaped by Christianity. But really what your stories are talking about is that although it could be initially hard, it can be initially hard to connect the Bible and my personal life. But when we study it, when we get beneath the surface, maybe someone comes in to help explain it to us, we touch upon something universal, applicable, relevant, and incredibly profound about life, right? So I want to take a few steps back, and I want to talk about one last thing today, which is what makes something relevant to our lives in the first place? How do we decide something is relevant or not? I think that's a question worth asking. So why don't we actually talk about that in the chat? What makes something relevant to your life in the first place? How do you decide that? Why don't you guys go and answer that for a little bit? But yeah, well, I mean, what are some of the answers you guys have to that?
I mean, I think if it affects your daily life, that's one.
If I care. Like, if it's something worth caring about.
Okay.
I guess that's like a answer within itself. Like, it's a circular answer, but.
But yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. I think another thing might be like if culture seems to address it, if the society seems to be trending in society. I see in the chat some people talking about if my friends are talking about it, helps me out, changes what I do. Yeah, these are all really, really good answers. If it benefits me, yeah, that's a great one. If you find it helpful, right? Well, I think one way something becomes relevant to us is when it affects the things that really matter to us. If something really affects what matters to us, then it's like, boom, immediate relevance, right? So like in school, when the professor says, this is going to be on the final, suddenly that's really relevant, right? Everyone like kind of bends down and scribbles because that's what matters. He's telling you this matters, right? Now that's for school, but what about for life? What matters in life? Well, I think that's actually a really easy question. It's stuff like relationships, good friendships, good marriage, family, making a positive impact in the world, having a sense of like satisfying work and a sense of purpose, having a really strong and robust identity, like knowing who you are and living out of that, right? Those are the things that really matter to life. And in the upcoming weeks, we're going to look at that. We're going to look at what God has to say about these things, like meaning and marriage and dating and work, major, career, maybe even how you should vote. That's really relevant right now. We're going to go and look at what's, some of the practical stuff around that, but really we're going to see what the Bible has to say about these topics. And our hope is that for you viewers, you can have this experience, that as we get beneath the surface and we really understand what the Bible's teaching, we can discover just how profound and relevant and applicable the Bible really is. So that's what we'll be doing in the coming weeks.
Yeah, and so I hope you can join us next week as we explore some of the biggest topics for college students and what God has to say about them.
And we know that some of you have left some questions for our segment Small Talk Big Questions that we haven't actually answered yet, and we will get to them eventually. And actually, before we wrap up, I saw some people in the chat mention that science has made Christianity irrelevant, and there are actually like a number of people who said that. I was wondering, Stephen, if you could point us to some resources that we could use to kind of address that. Yeah, I think that is another huge thing that makes just Christianity seem irrelevant. Like, hasn't science erased the need for that? Man, I would look up guys like Sean McDowell, J. Warner Wallace, look up science and faith, or you could look up science and the relationship between science and religious belief. We'll try to throw some links and update the description in a little bit, but that's definitely a relevant topic, and there's tons of stuff out there on YouTube about that. Yep. Yeah. William Lane Craig and Reasonable Faith, also a good one. Yeah, but until we answer those other questions that were dropped earlier, we'll be back here next week, same place, same time at 7:30 p.m. Yeah, don't forget to give us a thumbs up, subscribe, share, and follow our Instagram at A2CN. We'll see you guys next week.
See you next week.
Now, Harry, I heard this brilliant song on the radio.
Oh, go
Alexa,
ahead.
play A2CN live.
Oh,
Yes.
is this what they call a slap?
Yes, and I learned a new dance move. It's called the moonwalk.
The moonwalk. Oh, I'll show you one of mine. It's called the Queen's English.
Oh, it's lovely. It's lovely, Harry. I love it.